Hey
Hey,
everyone,
everybody.
welcome to episode number 7, I believe it is. Jermaine's a little under the weather, but he's going to stick it out with us today. What's going on,
I'm gonna
Jermaine?
power through. That's what dads do. How's it going? Yeah, that's what we do. We power through. We
Yeah, it
can't
is.
complain.
You can,
I will say
on this
this.
podcast, you can complain. It's
Well, I was
totally,
well then. I want to do that. I was on the couch and Trina came home from daycare and I was like, "Buddy, Daddy's sick." I was just laying there, just like, I'm like, "Daddy's sick," and he first thing jumped on the couch, walked all over my stomach, just
yeah,
belly flopped on me. I'm like, "Oh, that is not good."
yeah. You didn't know
Oh,
when you became daddy, you were part jungle gym at that point.
oh, I knew that. It's usually his mom though.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually her more than me, but I've gotten mine. I've gotten mine quite a few times. So
Oh, okay. See, I get mine way more than Danielle, I think, because as far as wanting to wrestle and play around and climb all over me, yeah, yeah. And when they get bigger, they don't stop. Like it's still that same enthusiasm comes. So now they're no longer two, now they're 6 and 7, and they
yeah,
still want you to do all that. And it's like, hey, you're getting big enough now. It's a little challenge for daddy to be throwing you up in the air and do all these things. Yeah.
it's slightly. Was it? They're slightly. Their motor skills are slightly better, but they're stronger than ever and heavy.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
I've
I
been checking out my arms. I've been checking out my arms. Like I ain't lifting weights, but like I feel like I'm getting kind of but I realize, oh, he wants to be carried all the time. But I gotta carry him because, like we said
oh
before, one
yeah.
day you're gonna put him down and you'll
Yeah.
never pick him up again.
That's right.
So
That's right. That time's gonna come and those days will slip away and you'll never know and you'll look back and regret it. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what they say is you'll never know the last time you pick them up.
So speaking of picking up, Bowman and I, Charlie and I have been talking back and forth. Like we've got this is episode number 7, and we're just kind of rocking our brain. Like there's so much to talk about, but what should we focus in on today? And Charlie brought up an interesting stat just to kind of break the ice, and it kind of had us both think about, how to start being a parent. Like, what is that process like for some people? Like, some people plan, go out of their way and put it on calendars and write down dates and all that stuff. And some people just get a surprise, babe, I'm pregnant, and then you just gotta, figure out everything in a little under 8-9 months. So that's today's topic. Like, what was your timeline to getting pregnant or having kids, and what was that like, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think family planning is pretty necessary, but it's also overrated because I mean, I got married older. I think I was let's see. Let me do some quick math here. I should know this, but
You should
uh
know this.
I should know this. I think I was 20, 28, 29 whenever I got married.
I was
Okay.
26. I know the day, the month, the day, and the year. I know my anniversary date. Now, can I do the math right now from that year to current? No, but I know when we got married.
Okay. All right. Well,
It was a long time ago.
yeah. I take that back. I may have been now that I'm doing math. Uh 27. I think I was 27. So I was right there with you. You're 26, I was 27. Anyway, um
Yeah.
did you feel like at 26 that you were at a point to where you were ready to start a family, where you were ready to support your wife, you were ready to have kids and support them, you were ready to go?
No. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. I was so naive. I didn't think about it.
Oh, I
It never
did
crossed my
not have
mind.
that
Like,
problem.
like my wife and I, we planned our own wedding. It was a small thing. We tried. I think it was pretty good. People I think liked it, enjoyed it. Uh, we didn't spend a bunch of money. Maybe $5,000, maybe all in all. But like we used all the money from. We didn't have any foresight. Like, for example, we got married and we didn't have a place to go after we got married. Like her brother and sister had a hotel room because they were going to party and have a good old time, but something happened with that. They're like, y'all can have our hotel room. So we had a place to stay. And then we went on our honeymoon. in San Antonio for a few days, and we didn't have a whole lot of money because we spent it on the wedding. So we used all the gift money we got from our wedding to finance our honeymoon. And then we got back home and we stayed at her parents' house.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
We
that's
didn't think about finding a place to live or anything like that. She had just gotten a job, uh, going on interviews and stuff like that, just graduated college and everything. But like, yeah, we were not at all thinking ahead. We were just worried about getting married and forgot about everything else.
you just
We
kind of
didn't think
winged
about
it and
anything
went from
else.
there. Okay, so that's not at all how I did it. So I've planned and a little bit more ahead, I guess, on that. But so I already had a house when we got married, or I was renting a place that we ended up buying, but I'd
Yeah.
been renting a place for 3 or 4 years. So I had a place we were going to live. We had everything set up because I'd seen a lot of people, kind of scramble at the last minute. So I mean, we had our wedding set up. We drove down to like halfway to Galveston that night, and then went down to Galveston and got on a cruise the next day and took off for 7 days, which was awesome. But no, I had it. Now, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I still didn't feel like with my job, with finances, I was where I needed to be to take on somebody. It's one of the reasons we dated for, I think it was 3 years before we got married, 3 or 4, because it was a long time before I proposed. And I got to hear about that a little bit. But I mean, I just wanted to make sure that it's one of those things to where when you get to looking at it, and especially being older now, looking back, there's never a great time. It's never going to be the perfect time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Something's always going to be going on. It's either going to be money, it's going to be time, family, whatever. I mean, the biggest thing I would say is don't let that hold you back. And that's for getting married or having kids, because having kids thing, I for sure never knew that that I was going to be ready. Okay, let me preface this by going back a little farther. Uh, Growing up, I 100% thought I was going to be retired by about 27.
Yeah.
That was the plan, and that was delayed. I originally thought 23, and that didn't work out. So I was like, okay, I'll push it back to 27, and now I'm 40, still working my butt off every day. But that was the plan
Yeah.
early on. I mean, when I was young and in school, I had big plans, and they just didn't work out.
Yeah. I don't even have those. But going back to starting the family though, like once we got married, like we never had the kid conversation.
Really.
Uh, I think we both kind of knew. I mean, before we got married, we never talked about how many kids you want. I mean, I mean, it came up in conversation from time to time, but we never had that really deep sit down conversation. Did she want 5 kids? Did I want one? Did we want 3? All that stuff. We didn't think anything about it. I think it was in the back of our minds, but we never told each other about it. We never communicated it. So, like the first few years, we were just, a married couple, and it was just the two of us, and you know, it never crossed our minds. I don't think. I think, like I said, it really hit me. I don't know. We talked about this before. I think it hit me as a guy one Christmas. I think you already had kids. It might have been just your oldest. Um, and like my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, had adopted some kids. We're going through the adoption process, and my brother had a little girl. So everybody around us had kids, and it was just one Christmas, and I saw all these kids just running around and parents helping open presents and all that kind of stuff. And for the first time as a guy, it hit me like this kind of sucks not having a kid, and to come home into a quiet house, a big house my wife bought, too big for the two of us when we bought it, because we figured we are gonna grow into it, and then it took a long time. And we came home that evening, and I just broke. And my wife had been feeling that way for a long time, but even her seeing me feel some type of way about it at that moment, like I think it kind of really made, I don't know, something clicked in this, and like we got to get this family started. So a lot of error, a lot of trials, but we got a 2-year-old now, so
Right. Right.
we and the way and like and the way our youngest son came about with the tragedy with my youngest son, like that was not in the plan. No one plans for that.
Right.
To have a rainbow baby in a sense. So like that in its own way was like really crazy. I remember that Christmas, she found out like 2 days before Christmas in 2019. She took a test and she was freaking out because again we just lost Trooper, and I was praying that she was pregnant. I was praying she was pregnant. She did not want to be pregnant. Like we were not on the same page when that happened.
Right.
She did not want to be pregnant. And I was like, we can do it again. It's going to work out this time. And she came out, and it wasn't like elation. It
Right.
wasn't like disappointment. It was just, I'm pregnant.
Well, I mean, some of that was probably just scared, is what that
Yeah.
was.
I
That
mean,
was
yeah, like I
scared.
say, it wasn't
Hey,
like,
yeah, we're fixing to go through this again. We had the tragedy with the first one. You know what? What are we gonna do? Because nobody
yeah,
can. You're gonna be scared of that. You 100% are.
yeah. So it was interesting. But I would say before all that, um, again, I think once we got a lot older and sadly mid 30s, like we really talked about, starting a family. We even went as far as starting the process to adopt at one point, and my wife just wasn't down for it. So, long story short, it's a very hard process, and um, my wife was kind of bitter about how that process went, and it held her back. And I mean, we had to have a really strong conversation because I was trying to push her so hard, just thinking, "Well, just get to the end, just get to the end. She'll see the light. Just get to the end, and she'll see the light." And when I stopped fighting and pushing her, and I realized how upset and how unhappy she was, and how she was trying to do it just for me, but not really doing it for herself and for us,
Right.
I just had to let it go. So, and like I said, it wasn't too bad, but it like I was saying, so it's things like that happened to us. That was our journey, how it happened for us. But like, how was yours? I know you, like you said, you kind of thought you
Yeah.
had some stuff
No.
planned
Hey.
out.
Hey. The getting married thing I had planned out. I kind of knew I wanted to be at a certain level. Everything like that. Now the having kids thing, not so much. So the first time we found out we were pregnant, which is one we lost, um, I had it was in, I guess, March. So it was early March. We had been married for a little over a year. Okay. And in that year, I told you I had everything figured out. In that year, we had signed the papers and bought our house in October of the year we got married. Okay. December, I quit my job that I'd been at for so long. I took a job that was 6.5 hours away, doing something I'd never done before in an industry I had zero idea about. I was sleeping at my buddy's house in his spare bedroom, and I was looking forward to kind of changing careers here because I was going to like an oil field services thing, um, working out there for him. He had an opportunity. He's like, "Hey, come out here." Midland was awesome at the time. It was Midland, Texas. I mean, the economy out there was crazy. There was a lot of money floating around. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and take advantage of this opportunity. So I go out there, I take it. The first 2 weeks in, so I would stay out there for 2 weeks and then come back, and then it became every week. But so the first 2 weeks I go out there, I come back around home because they have an office here to pick up my company truck, and me and my wife go out there. On the way out there, it's her first time being out there. It snows 11 inches on the interstate. This 6 hour trip
Hmm.
turns into like 11 or 12 hours. I mean, we're going like 20 miles an hour on the interstate some of the time to get there. We finally roll into town, get to my buddy's house, settle in, get up. I go to work the next day. It It took about a day. Snow melts, everything goes. She's in West Texas. It's all dirt and there's not very much trees. There's not very much grass. Everything's
Yeah.
dry and dead looking. She hates it. She's out.
Yeah.
Moving to Midland is not an option. We're not moving to West Texas. She's done. Okay. So
Good choice. Good choice.
that's right after. So that's mid-January, right? So she's already let me know this is a no-go. I'm out here. I've left a career I'd been at for 5 years, a company I was at for 5 years when I was kind of getting established to get married, right? So we go out there, there's nothing going on. And anyway, we wind up getting pregnant while I'm out there. So uh it's like she tells me, and it is the scariest thing that I can imagine. Cause like I said, I've always been, hey, I want to get set up and ready and kind of know. And all of a sudden, boom, here you go, you're pregnant. I was like, ready or not, you know, here it goes. So, like I said, unfortunately, that's when we experienced our first loss right there with that one. We come back, saw everything, went to the doctor, and we ended up, losing that one. So we didn't have it, but that was the first time to where it really hit. It's like, okay, you better get ready to have this family that you're going to have, because it
Mm-hmm.
can pop up at any time. It's here, and you're going to be ready. And what I figured out from that experience was, even if I'm not ready, you're never really going to be ready. You're never going to have everything planned or perfect. It's not going to be on a schedule you can do. Um, because then, I know a lot of people's gone through this, but after we had that first one, we had trouble having the next one. And we even lost another one on the way. So you got that time to where, okay, I wasn't ready. I didn't want this till now. Okay, well, now that we had it and we lost it, just kind of let you know how bad you wanted it, even if you
Yeah.
know you were prepared, and here it is. So now
Yeah.
you have to deal with all that, and it's like, okay. So luckily, same company I was at before, called a couple months later, ended up coming back to town, which it's great where we live now, because my parents are here, her parents are here. We've got everybody right close to where we have childcare. Everybody can be a part of the kids' lives. I mean, we have a lot of family in this area. So, I mean, it's just kind of the perfect scenario to kind of raise our family. And so we got back here.
Yeah.
And like I said, now we're actively trying to do it. And everything just kind of falls in place, man. And then we started having them. So
And then yeah. And you went from losses to three.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, had the first one and we're completely happy because we didn't know if we'd ever have one.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that the heck yeah, we got one, now we're good to go. And then we got another one. And then, and the second one was my boy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know a lot of dads out there struggle with
Mm-hmm.
with having girls. I know a lot of them that have, two or three girls. And it's always that question, do we try to have one more so we can get a boy to get that boy in there? I mean, I
Good
know people
boy.
that got
Yeah.
upset. I'm talking about
That. Yeah.
depressed, angry, everything else, because they did not have a boy, and that's all they'd ever imagined their whole time. Now, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these guys turned out to be the, some of the best girl dads ever, but that is a real thing for a lot of dads out there. But
Not gonna front. Not gonna lie. I thought with Trooper and Trenton Bow, I thought they were gonna be girls, but I wanted boys. I never said it out loud because I thought I was gonna jinx it. But in my mind, I was like, I want boys. But in my head, I was like, I'd be cool being a girl dad. Girl dad said it's fun.
I think it's just
Yeah. But
natural.
my wife wanted boys.
I think it's just natural to want a boy, to where, you kind of carry on the family name, and I don't know, there's just something there to where
Yeah.
it's like, okay. And some of that, raising a girl for a dad is scary, because there's a lot of stuff about that you don't necessarily know, or you don't want to have to deal with as you look forward to it. The boy, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I know how to handle you. I know what you're fixing to go through in life. We can do this.
Yeah.
I don't know that about my daughter.
Exactly. So yeah, I was like, so when my wife told me both, she's like, "Do you want to know?" She called me both times. She's like, do you want to know what the gender is? I was like, yeah. And I'm in my head like it's gonna be a girl. But in my heart, I was like, I want to be a boy. And she said boy, and I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And she was too, because as cute as she thinks she would make a girl, like the hair bows and the dresses and stuff, she enjoys being a boy mom so much. And yeah. But speaking about that, I was gonna say something like it's funny because we said after Trenton came home with us and we've had him, there's times she sees other babies and she has baby fever from time to time. She's like, oh, can we have one more? And I instantly go, no. Planning has ended.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
The train's left the station on that. We're
Yeah. And
we're
she'll see a
locked in.
little baby, just one more, just one more. I was like, you go to that baby and you pick it up and you hold it and you care for it, and it's someone else's baby.
And then
And
you give it
we
back
can leave
and you're gonna go home.
with ours, yeah. And he's under a table pooping right now, throwing a fit because he wants his pacifier. We're not giving it to him. You want two of those. So yeah, I'm done. I'm good with what we have. Uh, and like there's been times my wife has been like, I don't know if I am or not. I'm like, oh. And
Yeah.
before you'd be like, please be, please be, please be. But now you're like, that's double the daycare. That's more diapers. That's more formula. That's more bottles. That's another car seat.
Start
That's like you do
rationalizing
all that.
everything. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, nope, please no.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't see how it's gonna work. Sorry. I don't know. But again, I mean, hey, y'all should have another one. Why not?
No,
Just go ahead. It's fine.
no.
Hey, we just said it's never gonna be the right time. So hey, it'll be all right.
Hey, you know this as well as I do. We have someone that we're close to that's about to have their first one. It's gonna be a girl. And I didn't have a conversation with him because I know he's not ready. I
I,
know he's not ready. Now, I think in a lot of ways he'll be a very great dad. Absolutely. No question. I think every man has that in them if they stick to it and they want to be that.
right.
But I would love to offer him some advice. Not that I know it all because I don't. I don't, but like he's gonna be in for a rude awakening.
Oh yeah.
And it's a so I would like for him to be prepared. At least if not, because again, you're never ready. You're never fully ready. Even if you got everything planned. What's the old saying? You want to see if God has a sense of humor, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
Like, I want to like let him know there are some things that it just happens, and you're just like, you just got to figure it out as you go. It's the school of hard knocks. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but
he's like I said, he's in for a rude awakening, and you definitely
yeah,
we probably need to set him down. That would be probably be a good podcast if we set him down and we
yeah,
we went through everything with him here, just as kind of a way to advise that next generation of dad, because there's a lot of things you're not going to be
yeah.
prepared for.
See, yeah,
And there's a lot of things people are going to tell you, and you'll look back later and go, oh, that's what they meant. But at the time, you're just like, no, 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 that's not going to be how I do my family or my kids or anything like that. Because until you're in that situation, you can't imagine it. But looking back on my life now, there's a lot of wise advice I got that I kind of just discredited as, oh no, that's just what happened to you. You don't understand how I'm going to do it because I got this figured out.
yeah. I mean, you've heard it. I've heard it. My baby's not going to eat chicken nuggets and French fries. My baby's not
Uh,
going to eat fast food. My baby's going to get organic everything, and I'm going to blend it myself, and I'm going to milk the cow that it gets the milk from once they're able to drink it, and all that stuff. And my baby will never watch a TV. Okay,
yeah, hey,
okay,
hey, if you can do that, more power to you.
exactly. But we
That's
ain't it.
awesome.
We ain't it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Uh, but I was going to say something. One more little thing. Uh, but I forgot what it was. Oh, I do want to say that about uh our mutual acquaintance. Uh, I already know what we're doing. My wife and I've already talked about it. We got some stuff we're gonna give them for their kid for their baby once it comes, and I'm already gonna start buying diapers. I was like, if you don't have anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really
Diapers,
diapers and formula
wipes,
or whatever on
and
that.
formula.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, the baby clothes will come and you'll dress her up real cute and she'll wear it once, maybe twice, she'll grow out of it. You have all the fancy
I figured
toys.
out real
The
quick.
babies
You
just
know,
lay
the
around and do
little
nothing.
white onesies. You could just put the little white basic onesies on them. You're gonna be going in and out of it all the time. He needs a lesson in
Yeah,
swaddling and and that's and changing the diaper and he's good to go, man. That's all
yeah.
you need to know for the first little bit.
And I was a mean swaddler. I was a mean baby burrito maker. Like my boy was wrapped up. Like he was good.
Right?
My wife was like, "How you always do it so good?" Like I looked on YouTube. I use a lot of YouTube
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
figure stuff out. Still do. Every
There's
time
nothing
something
wrong
happens
with
to
that.
him,
There's nothing wrong with that. For you, those of y'all watching on YouTube, there's nothing wrong with watching YouTube to figure out some of this stuff because, like we say, fatherhood is hard.
very hard, rewarding, but it's hard.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we'll try to get that in the next little bit. Everybody, we appreciate y'all watching us, listening to us on the podcast, anywhere you're listening to those. Like, subscribe, comment anything y'all would like to hear us talk about.
Share, share, share.
We may not be that intelligent on whatever you want us to talk about, but we'll talk about it. We'll look it up on the internet or on YouTube and see what we can figure out.
See, there you go. Yeah, I
But
use some open AI. Hey
there
guys,
you
thanks
go.
for listening. See y'all next time.
All right.